welcome back to the Startup Shortlist video series. Today I have an amazing person that I know. So rather than me doing an introduction, I'm going to hand it over to her. So for the audience, who is Emily Grinton?
Thanks, Rena. My name is Emily Grinton. My background is computer science. I had the good fortune to graduate from computer science in 2001, which was pretty much the middle of the dot-com crash, for those that remember. My first job was at Telstra Big Pond fixing dial-up modems. So I was very happy to have completed 3 years of computer science degree to be working in a call centre. But in hindsight, it was really great to get a lot of that customer experience, customer service, troubleshooting, building those skills early in my career actually really helped me later on. So in hindsight, it wasn't the worst. But after 10 years, I think I kind of felt like, I set out to have a tech career, not a banking career. I met Pete Gatt, who's my current business partner, and I started with him at a company called Vibrato, also in the DevOps space. And we grew that company from 10 people up to 50, and we sold that company to Servian. We went on that journey with Servian for a couple of years, and then we were acquired again by Cognizant. And there was a lot that I know now that I wish I'd known at the start. So that was kind of the premise for starting Emanda, which is our current business. Emanda is M&A. So what we set out to do is basically educate people and advocate for people who are going through the process of selling their company. Help founders, business owners, understand what it would look like to sell the business. So we've built a platform that automates business valuation, then taking you into building out your information memorandum or positioning, basically telling you the story of your business. It's one of the key documents that you'll put in front of people as they go through considering that process. And then also we have an AI-powered data room. So once you get through that process and get into due diligence with a buyer, you can automatically have all of your documents there. Put the tools that you need in your hands so that you can understand what the value of your business is, and think about what you might need to do or want to do to change that, increase that, get your business ready before you actually start a sale process.
You've worn a lot of hats across your career. At what point does an early stage startup actually need someone in an operational role, and how do founders usually get that timing wrong?
When you get started, you don't. Like, that's the whole kind of point of being a founder, is you're doing everything. Now with the help of AI and all of the online tools that we have, it's just actually really easy to get going. In saying that, it's good to still have the operational mindset early. You need to stay focused on, is your revenue coming from, what's the runway, how's that working, but then you need to be also systemizing that stuff as you go through. So once you sort of do have something working, understanding exactly how it's all glued together and how the information is flowing through, how customers are flowing through, because that puts you in a really good position then when you need to start handing pieces. If you start to make notes of how you're doing that, when you're doing it, setting up some kind of cadence, understanding how that all ties into the purpose or the key numbers in your business, then you're going to be really well positioned. Because I do strongly believe that as a founder, you are your strongest salesperson. For most founders, it makes a lot of sense to sort of stay on the front line and be talking to customers. The operations is naturally an easier thing to carve off. So don't stress about it too much in the early days, just get it all working. Once you've got it working and you've got that breathing space, then it's a really good time to start going through the process and working out what you need in that space.
When you're hiring for a role that doesn't fully exist yet, how do you even write the brief?
If you've been going through and understanding all of the things that you're doing to make your business operate, I like to do a resource plan, spreadsheet, sticky notes, whatever. What do you want the role to do? Like, what are the functions that you're giving it? How long are you spending right now on them? What do you think is a realistic amount of time to spend on them? Doing that in advance can give you then the JD kind of writes itself. Like, what are the measures of success? What are the skills that you need? What are the experience that you need? You can look for sort of adjacent skills or things that they might have picked up in other areas. If you do that to start with, then everything else writes itself.
When you're bringing someone else in or writing that role, you can actually go, these are my strengths, these are the areas that I'm not so much my strength, but there'll be someone out there that will fill that role quite perfectly.
I think it's so true. How do you make yourselves better as a team? I've been working with Pete Gatt for years now. Anyone who knows us pretty well will know that we're pretty different in terms of the way that we operate and the way that we think about things. We complement each other. We see stuff that the other person doesn't see. That's what you really want to find in a team.
You've seen teams scale and then get acquired quite a number of times. What happens to culture in that process, and how do you protect what matters?
I think what happens to culture in that process depends really heavily on where it's prioritised. in the transaction. If you're acquiring or being acquired as a services company, your people are the company. If you ignore people and they get upset and leave, you don't have a business anymore. You need to have culture front and centre. People and culture are strategic and important to your business, and it's part of what makes your business operate well. I've got a couple of things that I always say to people going through this process. One is information. It can be really hard, but once you can and you do, you need to have a really strong comms plan. I always like to say, in the absence of information, people will make up the worst possible story. So you're always better to go out with something. And if you don't know, or you're going to find things out surely, let them know, and just be really transparent through that. And I think the other thing that you need to consider is putting yourself in their shoes as you go through, like literally just walking down the list of everyone in the team and putting ourselves in their shoes. How are they going to feel about it? What's going to motivate them? What's going to make them what are they not going to like about this? What will they like about this? And think about them as people, not just resources.
What's a hiring mistake you've made in your past, and what did it change about how you would approach hiring today?
Not so much a mistake, but I think the way we deal with AI it's interesting and evolving. Before AI, we loved a good tech test. We loved to send out a test, get people to do the test, come back and see it. And as AI's got better and better, it's become easier and easier for people to get someone else to do or something else to do the test for them. And I feel like we've almost come full circle now, where now it's like we want to see how people can work with AI. Show us how you would set this up. Like, how would you prompt the agents? How would you set that? I think it's an easy place to make mistakes, because I think you need to think about what you want. Again, what do you want for the role? And in this day and age, it's quite likely that you do want that person to come with some views and skills on how they can use AI to make themselves be more efficient.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you so much, Emily. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thanks, Rena.